Well, today I'm going to be cultivating weeds with the sweeps on this high arch Haas wheel hoe. Something I have found with these sweeps, first of all, they cut through the ground just almost effortlessly. They've got a sharp edge on that leading edge is sharpened from the factory, and or you can, if it gets dull, you can keep it sharp. But it does two things. You see the angle. This is the angle that's going to be going through the ground, just like that, about a 30-degree angle or so. And what it does is, as it slices off the weed, it throws it up in the air, kind of. It gives it a little toss because of that angle, and the root of that weed doesn't get buried by the dirt falling back on it. So there's really no chance of that weed, in theory, and it looks like it certainly works, of that weed regrowing, rerooting in the ground, because it's not just, you're not turning the soil over on the root, you're actually you're cutting the root off just below the soil, and you're throwing it up and out of the way. So let's go out there. Let me show you how this thing works. I mean, it truly almost effortlessly. If you can push the hoe, you can push this. It's really, really, really nice. And again, I've got these wheels set real narrow. If I'm going to hill corn, hill potatoes, then I'll move these brackets out to make the wheel wider, so you give you more room to straddle those crops with that high arch. But for right now, I've got them moved in to do some cultivating. Let's get after it. I've left a few weeds in the garden so I can show you how this works. I mean, just almost effortlessly. And it just cuts them off right there. That is beautiful. I know it looks just like I'm just running over them, but as it's running over them, it's cutting them off. And again, it throws them up in the air. It throws them up out of the way so they don't reroot. And what I have here is something I've been battling for several years. It's been the bane of my existence in this garden. It's kind of, I think, called a curcubit. It's about as big around as a lime, except it looks like a little baby watermelon. And these vines are just so hard to get rid of. And this is the very edge of my garden that I'm gonna try to keep clear. And let me show you what it does on those little dudes. Because this is on the edge of my garden, the soil is not near as good. This is not where I had a lot of the wood chips with the Back to Eden. So since I didn't have a lot of chips there, most of this is just hard red clay and is not good soil, but it cuts right through it. Let me rake them back so you'll see them. They have been cut. As far as effort, I'm telling you, if you can walk, if you can walk, you can push this thing with those sweeps on it. That is amazing. Okay, so let me summarize. My soil, except around the edges, is very loose from having applied wood chips for 4 or 5 years, and have turned my soil from hard red clay into a very composty, loose, pliable soil. Going through that with these sweeps is like they're not even there. It's like just pushing the little wheels. And when you get on the edges and it's got some hard clay, yeah, it's a little harder, but still, there's no way. I've owned a couple of tillers in the past. There's no way I could have gone through my garden and weeded my garden as quickly and as carefully with a tiller than I did with this. With the tiller, you know, you're taking the chance of certainly going too deep, hitting some of the feeder roots. You're taking a chance around your tomato cages of grabbing one of them and really tearing something up, or hurting yourself, or hurting the tiller, or hurting the cage or something. So there's just no way I could have done what I did in the short amount of time that it took me with a tiller. This is a time-saving little apparatus. Let me just go back and show you what I did in the garden, show you the results. So the middles of my corn rows are just absolutely free of weeds. It won't get, you know, the ones that are right next to the plant, the grass, the weed is right next to that plant. You know, I'm not going to get that. I'll have to do that with a hoe, or just wait till I heal. Now, I should have come in here and got this one just turned, because I'm missing. I don't have I've got about a 2-foot area there that I don't have a corn plant, so I should have come through here. I'll get that with a hoe. But just, I mean, tore it up. That was Bermuda grass. Tore out the Bermuda grass real well, as you can see. Just tore it out. It's drying up nicely. All this is just got thrown out, and all uprooted. It just didn't get tossed too far. But to just look down these rows, and you can see some of the greenery that I took out, that I dug up. And again, it doesn't get, you can get closer to the plants if you turn those sweeps out. I had those sweeps turned inwardly. If you turn those sweeps out and go down there, then you can get pretty doggone close, but then you got to be careful that you're not, you know, getting too close. So, I've never used a tool that was that, in the garden, that was that simple to use, had that much of an effect on the garden with that little effort. So I'm just tickled to death. There was a lot of weeds in this right here. I've got a few struggling pepper plants that my brother-in-law brought over that were half dead when he brought over. As you can see, my tomatoes are looking good, 5-6 foot tall, that one. And so anyway, everything's looking pretty good. but I just wanted to show you the sweeps on the Haas high arch wheel hoe, and those sweeps can be used on the double wheel hoe or the single wheel hoe. So you're not limited to just using it on the high arch. But anyway, just got pretty close to my tomato cages. Now what I could do is, when I go down here next time, I could turn that sweep out and get real close. You know, get real close to that tomato cage and take out some of those. There's a little bit that I just missed. That little old dude right there, right in the center. I missed it. So, anyway, the Haas wheel hoe and the sweep attachment on it is a time-saving dude. I like it. Thought I'd show you it, and hope you learned something. I've got a link below that is my associate link to Haas, and I would appreciate if you would use it if you want to go buy any of the Haas tools. If you already have a Haas wheel hoe and want to buy some sweeps, use that link right below the video, and to go to Haas Tools and pick you out something. Very, very nice. We appreciate Haas for supplying the wheel hoe, and we will see y'all later. We gone.